Hey guys, welcome to Estheticians in Business, the podcast. I'm so excited you're here, and I'm so excited I'm here because we have so much to talk about today. Okay, so let's start out with first saying congratulations and happy enrollment to everybody who has enrolled in Estheticians in Business. The marketing course got the full bundle, the summer framework, and is now part of the 6-week intensive that is starting this Friday, the 27th. And honestly, so excited about it because the 6-week coaching intensive is really going to be all about going through every parts of marketing each week, breaking it down, asking me questions, really getting what you would think would be typically like a one-on-one coaching, but doing it at a larger capacity. And I'm super excited for this because I added it in as like a bonus to enrolling this time frame. And obviously I gave it to my students who have already enrolled because that's just what I do. They get all the free stuff. Everything I create, they get. So if you're ever a student, you basically, and I ever add anything to a course, you get it. So that's always a bonus. So that's a plus. But I'm super excited. So if you're somebody who's listening to this, we are starting tomorrow, which would be Friday. This comes out on Thursday. If you're listening to this and you want in the 6-week coaching, let me know. I have a few spots available. I've almost maxed out. So I'm super excited for that because I want to be able to like intentionally work with everybody. And so I didn't want to like have this massive amount. And so I'm super excited to be able to work with everybody. But anyways, if you want in the coaching, let me know like right off the bat, and I will see if we can kind of get you in there. But this week, Jesse and I are going to our foster to adopt class. There's really nothing new, essentially, that I feel like that has happened. Some of the paperwork that we filled out this past week was about like how we handle things, how we show happiness, how we handle frustrations or anger, stuff like that. And they were supposed to be doing a home check. And I don't even know what that entails. So I'll let you guys know what I know. So we'll see. But anyways, today we went swimming. We went to the park this morning before it got miserably hot, and then we went swimming at the Y. And when we got in the car, I was like, "Is everybody unscathed?" And Jesse was like, "What?" And I'm like, "No one got tan, right?" I sunscreen. I got one of those like deodorant stick like sunscreens, and I just deodorant deodorant stuck Eden all over because I was like, listen, you're not getting burnt, okay? This is a pale baby. And so I was like, no, we're not getting tan. It's not happening. You're beautiful. And skin cancer is just not for us. It runs in my family and I'm just not interested in it, nor do I want to sell my daughter. So anyways, if you're out there getting tan, stop and wear sunscreen. Like there's nothing called a base tan. That's not real. Even tanning causes damage to your melanocytes. So if you could just not do that. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So let's move on. This week, we're going to be talking about the red flags that you're doing that are probably sabotaging your bookings. And I love this idea of this podcast because I have actually so I got to be part of this. I'm part of this really giant Facebook group right now. And I'm actually a partner with them and I'm super excited for it. So if you're in this Facebook group, you'll see me, so say hi. But what's really crazy is that it's also in posts they're like, why are we so obsessed with Instagram? What happened to getting out there and networking and talking to people and stuff like that? And I fully 100% agree. And I'm going to tell you right now, I do not understand why anybody owns a business is purely just using social media as the only means of getting clients. I just don't understand it. Now, I do understand that it is a great resource. It is a great place to get it. But I do not understand why that is the only place some people will look and be like, well, I posted something. I posted a discount. No one bought. Duh, no one bought because they have no idea who you are. Okay. And don't jump off this. Listen, I'm not going to go so hardcore the entire podcast. So posting one time on social media is not going to get you anywhere. I like to tell you right now, I post every single day, sometimes twice a day. I've been doing that for a year and like a month. Like May 30th, I think was my year mark. And Instagram's not the only place I get my clients. They're not. They're from this podcast, they're from Facebook groups, they're from estheticians I meet out in the real world. And that is the same thing as you have no idea who you're missing just because you're not talking to people. But anyways, listen, I get it. I have done stuff like this before. I was like Instagram, but that's not the only place. If I were to purely have just focus on Instagram, I say focus, like if I put all my energy that I put into networking, to vendor events, to getting out there and talking to people, hours and hours and hours of doing that, into Instagram, maybe as a solo esthetician, I could see that popping off if I knew how to use Instagram like that at the time, because your girl did not. That would make sense. But whenever I was trying to figure out what worked for me as an esthetician and what I enjoyed to market, I had to do all of the things to reach people. I remember I used to figure out like where people came from, and I'm like, oh, this is where I got somebody from. This is where I got somebody from. And people are like, oh, word of mouth. But how do you get word of mouth referrals if you don't have somebody coming in to give you the referral? How does that make any sense? Well, we have to get out there and market our business. So I'm going to stop eating your face off right now. And we're really going to be talking about the 5 marketing like red flags, because you may be showing up daily and still be doing things that like completely repel bookings. You might also think that the algorithm sucks, the economy sucks, or the season sucks. And honestly, could probably just be your strategy. Don't hate me when I say that, but legitimately, it's probably not the algorithm. It's probably not the season, the economy, or the tariffs. It could possibly be that your strategy just blows and you need a better way to market your business, but putting it on something else is just like not chill. Okay. You need to put it on yourself and realize that you need to do more, or you need to do the right things with the strategy. So these red flags may be subtle. I mean, you may be seeing somebody that's just popping off on Instagram. That's the only place they get it. But I tell you right now, they originally got all their leads from other places prior to doing Instagram. So let's talk about red flag number 1. First off, if you're on Instagram or on Facebook and you're posting with no like clear call to action. So like maybe you're educating, maybe you're entertaining, or maybe you are being consistent, but you're not telling people what you want them to do. So you could be posting all the time, but if you're not telling somebody to buy from you, if you're not telling somebody to book with you, if you're not telling somebody to order this or do this, how are they going to know that's what you want them to do? People need that direct like call to action. Like, what is it? Could you fathom if all the people who bought my course, I just sent out an email was like, this is the course and that's it? Like, they probably wouldn't have purchased because I didn't have like this confident call to action. So you need to have a confident call to action when it comes to getting people to do whatever you want them to do, whether it's like getting their emails like from a freebie you created, or maybe it's getting them to come to a consultation you have, or if you're doing like a try me kind of service, whatever it is, but getting them to do the thing that you want them to do, you have to tell them to do those things. And I have to add, I absolutely love DM automation. I love it. I think it is fantastic. But if you don't have that in your budget to add in, say, like ManyChat, don't do it. Unless you're doing something like you're really creating something that is going to pop off and you realize like you just can't keep up with all the comments, then at that point I'd probably do ManyChat. But if you're just doing something where you're like you want somebody like your local followers to DM you for facial, or DM you skin consult, or DM you acne, then maybe you can just use that as a means to get activity and get like traction on your posts. But otherwise, I mean, DM automation is great. All right. So the red flag number 2 is going to be relying only on Instagram. I know I just went like hardcore on this, but if Instagram went down tomorrow, would you have a client pipeline? Realistically, I mean, think about how many times TikTok has potentially gone down. Like I think it was supposed to go down the other day and I think they extended it. But like, how many times is TikTok supposed to go away? And people, oh my gosh, the creators lost it because that was their means of making money, is through TikTok. So many people are like losing that this is my job. And so they didn't have means to support themselves in other ways. They didn't have emails. They didn't have other facets of ways to get clients. So this is where you have to make sure that like, are you doing things to make sure you're still getting clients from places you own, like an email list? You need a Google business. You need to put a Google business. Even if you don't completely 100% keep it updated all the time, you at least need to have one, and you need to be able to link it to a location. So for instance, I'm pretty sure you can. If you still Google I am day spa in Winter Park, Florida, you will find my spa. Okay. I'm pretty sure. Unless it somehow was taken down, because I never took it down. But you will still be able to locate it if you put it in the directions on Google. You want to make sure that you are putting yourself in places where people are going to see you and that it is owned by you, or something that is not just a social media platform. You also need to make sure you have some type of booking system that converts. And I say that a booking system isn't necessarily just your payment operating system. It's not just your Gloss Genius or your Vagaro. It is exactly how you get people to book. So whether you have a system for rebook or a system for people who haven't, or for rescheduling, or for a system for people who haven't shown up in a while or something like that, you need to make sure that you have those systems put into place. And that is something that I see all the time with estheticians, is they don't have systems put into place and they feel frantic. And that is what I teach in my course all the time, about the fact that you don't want to feel frantic when you are trying to run a business. You want to feel at ease because your systems are working, you're working. You only have to set it up one time and then tweak it as needed. So your business really should be alive in more than one place. So it should be living multiple locations. It should not just be alive on Instagram. I mean, literally, one of my really good friends, who her entire business is on Instagram. She has no other means of getting clients, just Instagram. And she's been growing this Instagram for like years and years and years and years and years. Okay. She never really did anything else. And her Instagram got hacked. She also had that little check mark, the little blue check mark, the verified. She paid for the verified. And they couldn't get it back for a long time. And she was crying, crying, crying. I mean, I would have cried too. She has thousands and thousands, thousands, thousands of followers. And she was crying. And I'm like, dog, I'm so sorry. You know, like, what's your email list look like? It didn't. She didn't have an email list. She had no means of telling her clients about things or getting new clients. And it broke my soul. And I was like, you have to be in more than one place. You cannot just be on Instagram. You master Instagram, move to the next place, move to the next place. Okay. Now, red flag number 3, let's talk about the fact that majority of the time, and I'm guilty of this too, we talk about the features, not the results. And this was something I really struggled with, especially with this business, my current business. And I feel like, listen, when I was a solo esthetician, I felt like talking about the benefits was super easy for me. Like, thought about like the results were easy, like glowing skin, less wrinkles, plumper, no acne. We could get rid of your melasma. Like, you don't have to wear makeup. Like, that stuff was easy for me. This part of my business is hard because I have to like talk in a different frame. But that's the same thing when it comes with you, is that you want to talk about, if you're talking about a specific service, you want to talk about the results they're going to get after their service, not the features that they're getting during the service. So if this makes sense, we could be talking about a hydrofacial, and a hydrofacial plus an LED sounds super hot to us, right? Like, that just sounds, yes, delicious. Chef's kiss. We get that. But somebody who doesn't know what the heck a hydrofacial is or LED is, they have no idea what you're talking about. So you have to tell them about like what it's going to look like the fact that they're not going to have to wear foundation anymore because their skin's going to be so glowy. Say goodbye to dry patches, or say goodbye to that flaky makeup. Your makeup's going to lay way better when you do dermaplaning. Like, talk about the results of things, not necessarily the ingredients. So for instance, I have this Loom box. It's like my favorite thing. Anytime I have any inflammation on my body, I'm targeting it. And I was explaining, my dad had knee surgery, and I was explaining to him about my Loom box. And I was like, you should use this. It's red light therapy and whatever. And he was like, what? And so then I told him it would bring inflammation down. It would make his knee feel better. It would, reduce some of that bruising. It's going to heal faster. It also helps with like depression, all that stuff. And he was like, I'll take it. I'll do it. But the difference is, when I told him red light therapy to the results he's going to get, his ideas changed. His thoughts changed. He's like, I'll do it. I'll do anything for that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You may be selling ingredients like glycolic acid, or you may be talking about how this retinol is just the best thing on the planet. But if no one knows what retinol does, why do I need to use retinol? What is retinol going to do for me, right? Other than make my skin a little flaky if it's too aggressive. You need to realize that people need to understand the results over the features of something. Like, people don't care what percentage that vitamin A is. They go, I do. I personally care, but other people don't. Okay. People that are not estheticians, they don't care. So you have to think about it from the perspective of what your client is saying versus what you're saying. I hope that makes sense. You need to make sure that you are sharing about the results versus the ingredients versus the features, because no one knows what those things are except for us. So just remember that. All right, red flag number 4 is changing your prices and services constantly. Listen, when your clients and your future clients are confused and you're confused, no one's going to purchase. A confused brain makes no decision. They just doesn't do it. the decision will just automatically be no. That's the decision it's going to make. It's not going to say yes. It's just going to say no, because a confused brain's like, that makes no sense. I'm not doing that. This person is kind of weird where they change all the time. I'm not doing that. Now, the only time I really say that you need to kind of change things around is if you're, and do it a little more often, is if you're somebody who's like trying to figure out for themselves what they like. So, for instance, and I would probably do this in as like a strategy. For instance, if you're a new solo and you're like, I want to do everything. Okay, cool. Do it all. But I would recommend that you slowly niche down. For instance, when I first started, I wanted it all. I was like, waxing makes so much money. I can do that, right? And I know how to do all these body treatments and all these facials and all these things. And so I was like, yeah, I'll do all of it. So I put it all on my service menu. One, it wore me out because I was like getting whiplash switching from one service to the other. I was just overall, I was never like super proficient at, like super excellent really at one of them, because I was always just kind of like halfway proficient at them because I was doing so many services. Almost like if you go to the Cheesecake Factory and you're just like, why is there so many things on the menu? What? It's going to take me 18 years to choose. I'm confused. I don't even want to go here. Same kind of concept. And so at that point, I realized I hated waxing. I wasn't good at it anyways. Sorry to all my wax clients before, but wasn't great at it. So I took that off. Then I kind of figured out like what facials I like to do, what body treatments I like to do. And I kind of went down from there. But if you're somebody who is just like changing it up because you got bored, maybe change up how you do stuff versus how you tell your clients about things. Because a business needs to have like a solid menu, signature services, and a pricing strategy that you can trust and that they know. So you want to make sure that you are creating a business that is not only about like servicing your clients in a way that builds trust, but also creating a business that you know wholeheartedly. Like if someone talks about your signature service, but your signature service last week was waxing and this week it's eyebrow tinting, how do we know what your signature service is? How do you know what you talk about? You don't. It's almost like having like a referral system that changes all the time. It has to stay the same so you can talk about it all the time. You have to become the master of your business so that people understand what your business is about. Now, if you did join this enrollment, you did get the opportunity to buy my course as like an add-on. This additional one's called How to Price Yourself. And basically it's a course of literally how to price yourself. And I'm so in love with it because one, I worked really hard on it, but two, it literally breaks down exactly how to price yourself through your everything based off how you want to pay yourself, how much you want to pay yourself, what do those hours look like, how to break down each service. I mean, I go all in. So I'm going to link that in the show notes if you want to check that out, but it's top notch. Okay. Anyways, let's move on. So let's talk about red flag number 5 is you're only marketing your business when your books are empty. Like what? I have never understood the idea of closing your books. Okay. I really have never I never understood the idea. Like, I'm sorry, you just suddenly got enough clients. Now, I'm not talking about open enrollment, closed enrollment. I'm not talking about a promotion you're running. I'm talking about that you straight up close your books. Like, this is some like big thing that you hit when you become like successful as an esthetician is you no more. I never understood that because the fact that clients, they change all the time. People that you've been seeing month after month after month after month will just go away. People lose jobs, their budgets change, they have children, they have to pay for different things. Something happens, someone dies, someone moves, someone's in the military. And so when you close your books up, you just close those doors on letting other people find other estheticians. And people have different schedules. Schedules change. So sometimes you will have that open slot, but if your books are closed, how in the world are you going to be able to get somebody in? And now there are a few ways you can play with this, but obviously like creating like a wait list or maybe hiring somebody else to take more clients on during that time or booking people further out, like months out or 2 months out versus just in those 4 weeks. Because when you only market when your books are empty, you begin doing this thing called panic posting, and it just doesn't work. Panic posting is not something that I would ever recommend because it just, one, it comes off as desperate, and people don't want to look at desperation. They want you to seem like you are exclusive. Like this is the thing, the person. So you want to make sure that you are creating a business that is marketing all the time. And even if you are able to tailor back your marketing. So say if you're brand new, you have no clients, or you just moved and you have no clients. You want to make sure that you're going all in on marketing because you have nothing else to do. If you're not working on a client, you need to be getting clients. So once you get to that fully booked stage, you can definitely come back on your bookings, on your marketing, but it's not recommended you fully stop. And when I say like kind of tailor back, I mean like instead of going like to a million networking events and posting 87 times on Instagram and always doing this and always doing that and asking for cold leads all the time and doing vendor events all the time and all that stuff, maybe just tailor it back to going to one networking event a week or a month. Maybe tailor it back to where you're posting one time a day on social media instead of 4 times a day. Maybe instead of calling cold leads and stuff like that, that you focus on word of mouth and loyalty and client returns and client referrals. Maybe you're systemizing, but booked estheticians never stop marketing. It's a market consistent, not in reactive. You want to make sure that you are marketing because you are a business. I mean, I just think about like so many chain restaurants or even just normal restaurants, but so many like places that are busy all the time. Think about McDonald's, okay? McDonald's is booked. They're always full, right? Always a line. There's always never any ice cream. Like they're always busy, selling thousands and thousands of dollars worth of just food all the time. And they're marketing all the time. They never stop. They never stop because people need to know that McDonald's is probably just around the corner. And if they don't market, how are people going to know that? So your Instagram, your Facebook, your everything should be showing off how great you are, how awesome you are, even when you are fully booked. You need to be able to still be getting ways to get leads, give away freebies, collecting things from people. And if you really are that booked, I would be looking into ways to scale your business. Maybe getting an employee or moving to a bigger location where you could have more people there, or maybe adding more hours to your time, or reducing the time that you spend with your current clients so that you can fit in more people. So for instance, say you are spending like an hour with a client, can you reduce that time to 45 minutes? You do that, 4 times, you have room for another hour client. I mean, if you do it 3 times, you have room for another 45-minute client. So if you can find ways to get people in and spend less time with them, but still make them feel important and special and all the things, then that is another way to get more clients in. You want to make sure that you understand that each one of these red flags that I talked about are completely and utterly fixable. It's not something that is like not fixable, okay? Most of them honestly come down to the strategy, consistency, and confidence. Something I have found with estheticians and really just business owner. Let's just talk about business owners in general. Ones that have gotten, brave, stepped out, became a business owner. Like kudos to you for the first part. Barely anybody does that. But it's the fact that there's not a lot of confidence. And it can be really, really, really scary. It's funny. I just told my husband this. I'm just like, when you're nervous, just take God by your right hand and you just move. Okay. That's your partner. But if you're somebody who is just not confident, that is something I would highly recommend that you focus on, that you figure out slowly but surely your confidence. And how you create confidence is by creating a promise for yourself that you keep. And you do it over and over and over again, and you will just get more confident and more confident and more confident and more confident. Okay, so here are some of the things that you need to be doing in no particular order. But you need to be planning your content with a purpose. You need to be building a full marketing system. A full marketing system. Let's break down a system again. A system is where basically things happen automatically, right? It's just like this. It takes no brain power. It just does it. It's a system that it's almost like, think about your treatment plan or even your treatment. Okay, say you're doing a basic facial. The whole facial is a system from start to finish, from cleansing to exfoliation to extractions to calming the skin to the final touches. Like the whole thing is a system. And so that's a whole part of like your business is, what does that system look like? Like, what are those movements you need to be making? You need to make sure you're speaking to your dream client with a clear message. If you don't know who your dream client is, start there And you need to make sure you're talking to them, because if you're talking one day to somebody who has acne, and the next person, somebody who has melasma, to the next person who has wrinkles, to somebody who now has ingrown hair because they're a waxer, I've gotten whiplash. I don't know which way direction you're going. Who are you talking to? One of those issues could be mine, but how do I know you're the person to fix it? I don't. So make sure you're talking to your client. And then show up as the expert you are, not just when it's quiet. Show up all the time that you're the expert. Show up even when you are booked. Show up all the time. You don't want to be missing opportunities just because right now you're booked. And that's why systems are really important, because even when you feel like things are going well, you're super booked, you're doing all these things and you're super, super busy, that having a system that is going to work for you, even when you can't work on it, is so important. So if any of these red flags made your stomach drop a little bit and you're like, oh God, that's me, it's okay. That's fine. That is something that I teach you all the time. If you're not on my Instagram, I'd recommend getting on my Instagram or getting in my Facebook group, Estheticians in Business, the Facebook group. And I will put all this in the show notes, but just making sure that you are showing up to all the free things I give out, that is going to teach you significant amount of things. But also, if you are somebody who's like, you know what, I want this coaching intensive, I want to be somebody who gets in and spends the next 6 weeks building their business like crazy, is somebody who is just not going to play games. If you're somebody who wants to show up every single week, or not, it's recorded, to direct message me on Instagram as quickly as possible. Even if you missed the first week, I have a few spots left right now for the 6-week coaching intensive. You just let me know and I'll send you information on the enrollment for it. But that is definitely something that I know, and I'm so excited. It's going to help so many people that have joined, and I just can't wait to fill their cup up. And it's just gonna be good. It's gonna be good. But anyways, if this podcast was helpful for you, please share with a friend, post on Instagram, like it, leave a comment, leave 5 stars, all the things, because I want more people to know about estheticians in business, because I really do try to break things down for you and make your life a whole lot easier. Anyways, love ya. See you next week, or I'll see you on Monday for marketing tips. So bye.